This is a statement of fact. The opioid epidemic is a national crisis, and it's also cost us thousands of lives just in our viewing area. And Tommy sat down with a woman who lost her son Harris to an accidental overdose, and now she's working to help people to get the help that they need. Harris, he would have turned 23 last week. Dom?
Well, Richard, in a long career of covering news, this is a story that just frankly broke my heart. But if there is a silver lining to be found, it is the very strong Marchesano family. Stephanie Marchesano has become an advocate, going from high school to high school, like Lakeland in Westchester County.
I left my house, got in my car, and a police car, as I got to my corner, came down my block. And I said, if he stops at the house, I know what happens. And he stopped at my house. I turned my car around, and I met him on the street, and that was how I found out.
A mother's intuition. Stephanie Marchesano knew something was wrong. She lost her 19-year-old son, Harris, 4 years ago, a student at Ardsley High School, the victim of an accidental overdose. The problem for Harris started in the 11th grade.
He went to a party, took prescription pills for the first time, and that basically started the end game for us. By the middle of 12th grade, he went into rehab for the first time. This is a national epidemic. This is happening everywhere. Young people don't understand the relationship between their mental health, between their brains, and the substances that they're using. They somehow believe that experimentation is a rite of passage, and they really don't understand that they're playing Russian roulette, that the risks are so high, and they don't see the beginning.
But Marchesano is not the type of person to sit on the sidelines. She has started an initiative called the Harris Project, talking to young people in schools throughout Westchester County, Greenwich, Connecticut, and in New Jersey about the dangerous link between mental health disorders and substance abuse.
He spent his 18th birthday in a rehabilitation program, and when he turned 19, he died by overdose. So it was really a very short period of time. He went to a party, which a lot of young people do, you know, in counties just like Westchester and places all across this country, and they think that, you know, when somebody has prescription pills in the house and that's something that everybody kind of samples and takes, they don't necessarily think of the risks associated with that. And for Harris, whatever the sensation was that he got from taking those pills, he thought that that was the way that he should manage himself. And so once those pills started happening for him, it basically changed the course for him, because he became somebody who would look and find pills in a variety of places. Part of my eulogy was the piece that everybody missed about him, the piece that never really got dealt with when he was in programs. And I did it because I know that there are other families in the same position as we are. I know that there are people, as far as parents go, who will believe anything if a program says that they'll do it so that their kid will be safe. And I realized that there had to be more, you know, that young people were dying, and there had to be some other way to do this.
Mrs. Marchesano, I'm sorry to ask you this question, but what does this do to a family when you lose a 19-year-old son?
Oh, it destroys, destroys a family, no, because we're still here and we're still intact. But the gaping hole that it leaves, I mean, Harris was the personality of our family. Funny, engaging, anxious, and, you know, a lot of things that we had to do as a family to kind of manage that. Vacations were sometimes difficult. Getting on a plane was really hard. But the laughter and fun of our home was gone. And so, you know, for us, I made the commitment to do what I do in a nonprofit. My husband made the commitment to work really hard so that I could do that. My daughter was a senior in high school when Harris died, and everybody was so concerned. You know, she was just finishing applying early decision for college. Harris died on October 23rd. Her stuff was due November 1st. You know, is she going to be able to go away, or are you going to let her go away? And for me, I knew that she needed to see that we were okay so that she would have the confidence to do her life. And so since then, I mean, I do what I do. She is at Syracuse. She's a junior. She majors in social work. She minors in addiction studies and athletic coaching. She wants to work with athletes with mental health, substance use, and traumatic brain injury. So I think that, you know, Harris's legacy goes on, you know, through our family and what we've chosen to do and how we've chosen to live our lives since he died.
Abuse of opioids, prescription pills, or heroin use play directly into co-occurring disorders. The most common mental health disorders are anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, PTSD, ADHD, and oppositional defiance disorder. Commissioner, how big of an issue is this for young people?
Well, it's tremendous. About 34% of our youth who have substance abuse disorders have a pre-existing condition of anxiety or depression that often goes untreated. And those are national statistics. We know that one just doesn't start with drugs for the most part because they want to experiment. Yes, that does happen. But oftentimes the pressures of school, the stress of school, issues at home, trauma, bullying, self-esteem, and kids will turn to various drugs. In this case, we know opioids and heroin, unfortunately, that can lead to death, and they turn to those to fill a void.
It's difficult to find healthy coping methods for mental illness without turning to drugs and alcohol. So the most important thing is to spread healthy ways to cope with mental illness through the schools so that no one has to deal with things like that.
How many things in 2017 are disorders or diseases that nobody's ever heard of? How many things can affect over 9 million Americans and have a name and nobody's ever heard of it? So what I'm hoping to do is to create a movement where everybody understands what co-occurring disorders is. Everybody understands what the appropriate treatment model is, how to integrate treatment, and create a nation of advocates.
For more information on the Harris Project or co-occurring disorders, you can go to their Facebook page at facebook.com/The Harris Project, COD. This is real. Approximately 1 in 4 teens will have a mental health challenge with significant impact in a given year. Stats show, Richard, about 70% of those misusing substances have a mental health challenge or disorder.
And everyone you speak to up and down the food chain of this problem, from law enforcement to the families impacted, all the treatment, they're just saying it's not going away.
It's not.
Nope. Dominic, great piece. Thank you very much. We'll be right back.